Shalom, everybody. Ariel Tzadok here from the KosherTorah School, found online. Where else? KosherTorah.com. It is the 12th of November, 2019, and I am presently in an undisclosed location somewhere in the vicinity of Los Angeles, ready to film for Ancient Aliens. We have a whole bunch of very interesting episodes to film today. Of course, I'm not allowed to divulge our topics. For that, you're going to have to watch the show, but I'm going to tell you, we have a number of really cool, interesting stuff that I wouldn't believe that they're putting on the air. But that, and also the other show, The Unexplained, that goes on right after Ancient Aliens. I'll be on, so watch both. Hey, let's discuss something very interesting. We mentioned Ancient Aliens and this week's Torah portion. This week's Torah portion speaks about a very famous biblical incident wherein which God commands Abraham to sacrifice his son, Isaac. And now, you all know the story. You could read it in the Bible. But I'm going to ask you a question. If you had a vision from God, and God said to you, I want you to kill your child for me, what would you say? When you think about that, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I'm religious, I'm holy, I obey what God says. Sure, I would do it, like Abraham. Let me tell you what I would say. Not only would I say no, even to God, I would wag my finger and say, shame on you, O God, for asking me such a horrible request. What kind of creator of the universe would ask a human being to do such a depraved act? Now, you go read all the commentaries, and you'll see that God never really intended for Abraham to do that and the like. But there's a big secret to the story of the Akedah, the sacrifice. Most people don't know. You see, it doesn't make any rational sense that God would ask Abraham or any other human being to take the one who they love the most, who is a child of prophecy, and murder them, for lack of a better term. It doesn't make any logical sense. But you have to remember something. This is vital to understanding the nature of the entire Akedah. God spoke to Abraham in a vision. As Maimonides always makes clear, a vision and everything in it is an archetypal psychic experience. And essentially, that is what the Akedah was. Just like the story of the book of Job, where in which we read that God made a bet with the devil. Really? What kind of mythology are we talking about? The book of Job, our sages teaches us, is not history. It was a novel. It was a story. It was an ancient philosophical moralistic teaching. Well, Maimonides teaches us, and I elaborate on that the entire episode of the sacrifice of Isaac was equally a prophetic vision. It never physically happened. So God was testing Abraham in the depth of a vision to the essence of his heart and soul. That was the true test, to see if Abraham himself, inside at the unconscious level, was truly bonded with the universe, which is God. That's why the story revolves around the name Elohim, which is, as we know, the numerical value of the word Hateva, nature. And that is the secret of this story. You see, it wasn't historical, or otherwise Abraham would have argued or debated with God like he did over Sodom and Gomorrah. Essentially, this was a very awake dream of Abraham's. And it all happened inside. And that is why Elohim, God, approaches Abraham, and why he is so willing to accomplish, because the nature of his inner soul was being tested. That is why the details of who were the servants who went with him and all the like are not explained. They don't have to be in a dream vision. And then as we see at the end of the vision, all of a sudden there is this ram who is stuck by its horns in the thickets there. Where did that come from? This is a typical nature of a biblical explanation of a dream. And that is how God tests us to this very day. He speaks to our minds, to our hearts. And many of the things that we see in our dreams are an actual true test of our inner real nature. And that's what we need to pay attention to. When we want to talk about religion, so many people today look at religion as being something external. It was never meant to be that. It was meant to be an internal transformation from an unenlightened, almost animal level soul to an enlightened human level soul. And Abraham was tested in his dreams to see if he was sincere and honest and true, and indeed he was. And that is the proper and deeper way to look at the story of the sacrifice of Isaac. It was an archetypal dream experience. And this is how Abraham was able to show to both heaven and earth that he was true and honest and sincere. We should always pay attention to our dreams. We should always pay attention to the things going on inside us, because whether it be God or angels or extraterrestrials, that is how they communicate with us. It is a mind-to-mind communication. That is how the 10 Commandments were spoken at Mount Sinai. That is how God speaks to us to this very day. He doesn't speak to just religious people of any one kind or another. God speaks to inspire all human beings with all the different ways and means that human beings, us, have accessible. He'll speak to an artist through art, the musician through music, through the scientist through science, through you, through that way which is unique to you. Seek out that inner reality of the greater whole of the universe, which we call God, and seek it in yourself and experience it. Open yourselves up to opportunities that you may not have considered before. And come watch our program. We've got a good bunch of new programs coming up, like I said. And for those of you who want to continue to study, our KosherTorah school is readily available for you. Come, go to our Patreon page, become a supporter, get access to our classes, videos, and all the things that we're doing. And God be willing, I'll see you online, and you can see me on Ancient Aliens and the Unexplained. Looking forward to seeing you all. Ariel Tzadok, the KosherTorah School, undisclosed location, Los Angeles. See you all soon. Shalom.